Hello everybody, yes indeed, yes indeed, yes indeed. Hello everybody, yes indeed, yes indeed, my darlings. Bum diddly bum bum bum. Hi, Mrs. Rizzo back again to read you another holiday story. Yeah, we're celebrating all the winter holidays and in the month of December. And have you noticed some decorations, some new decorations in front of my holiday house here? This is called a menorah. Yes, a menorah. Can you say menorah? It's a special decoration that Jewish people put up to celebrate a special holiday that is called Hanukkah. And Hanukkah lasts for 8 days, and each day they light another candle on the menorah, you see? And today is the last day of Hanukkah. So I've got all my candles lit on my menorah. You may see these in stores or decorations, or maybe you even have one in your house. Yeah, this is a special Jewish holiday called Hanukkah. And I'm going to put my menorah here. It looks so pretty, doesn't it, in front of my holiday house? And I have a Hanukkah story for you today. This book is called Hanukkah Hamster. Yeah, have you ever seen a hamster? That's a very small little animal. It's almost like a mouse. It's almost like a guinea pig, but it's about the size of your fist. If you make a fist, that's about the size that a little hamster is, right? And this man is celebrating Hanukkah. As you can see, he's got his menorah lit in the background there. So let's begin and find out about the Hanukkah Hamster, written by Michelle Markel and illustrated by Andre Ciolin. Isn't he cute? Look at the little Hanukkah hamster. He's adorable, isn't he? Yeah. December had come to the city. Decorations glittered on rooftops and windows. Yeah. All decorated for the celebrations of winter holidays, right? People rushed in and out of stores to buy gifts for the holidays. All day long, Edgar drove them in his cab. That's a taxi, isn't it? That's a car that people pay to be driven in if they don't have their own car available, right? Then a taxi driver drives them in the cab. At the end of his shift, that's his work time, he was so tired. So he climbed into the back seat of his cab and took a little nap. That's the taxi cab driver, and his name is Edgar. Oof! Something scrambled onto his chest. Ay, 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 something hairy brushed on his face. Was he just dreaming? No, it was a hamster. Edgar scooped it up in his hands. Oh my, what's that doing in his cab? He looks very surprised. The hamster settled into his hand. Its little feet were so pink and tiny. His two beady little black eyes blinked at him. Edgar stroked the hamster's back, and then he set it down in his lunch bag. He wondered who had left that hamster in his cab. But you know, he had so many customers that had gotten in and out of his cab. So Edgar phoned in a report to the lost and found at the cab company. He's thinking of all the different customers that he drove around that day, trying to remember if one of them had a hamster, maybe lost it in his cab. At his apartment, using a cardboard box and some shredded paper, Edgar made a little home for the hamster. There you go, he said. He said the Hanukkah blessings, and while the night stars watched, he lit 2 more candles on the menorah. So he made a little bed for the hamster, and then he went on to celebrate his holiday by saying his prayers and lighting some more candles on the menorah. The next day, Edgar drove more people on their holiday errands. He got a message from the Lost and Found saying that nobody had called about the hamster. So that night, after lighting 3 more candles, Edgar made some chopped salad, the kind he used to eat back home. And he chopped up a tiny salad for the hamster too. It's just you and me again. Edgar looked at the cucumbers and the chickpeas on his plate. Then he watched the hamster nibble on its own little salad. Okay if I call you Chickpea? So he named the hamster Chickpea. Chickpeas are a little kind of like a little bean. Do you eat them sometimes on your salad? Or sometimes in soup? Chickpea, that's a good name for a hamster. The following night, Edgar stopped at the Lost and Found desk. Has anybody called about the hamster, he asked. The manager just shook his head. Edgar looked at hamster supplies at a pet shop. He counted the tip money that was in his pockets, and he had just enough for some food for the hamster. So this time he bought the hamster some hamster food at the pet shop. When he got home, he said some more blessings, and he lit 4 more candles. Chickpea got into the bowl with his hamster food. He did a backflip. Was that a little smile? Edgar took pictures on his phone and shared them with his family back in Israel. That's where his family lives, in a country called Israel. That's where Jewish people live, and they celebrate Hanukkah. Yeah. Day 5 of Hanukkah dawned cold and brisk. Throughout his shift, Edgar checked for messages, but no one had claimed the hamster. So that night he made a slide out of a cardboard tube. Chickpea whooshed down the slide, whee! And he twitched his little nose like this. Sort of like a little bunny rabbit, right? They twitch their noses. That was a good idea he had, don't you think? Looks like he used maybe a paper towel roll for the hamster to slide down. Hamster's having fun on that. On days 6 and 7 of Hanukkah, Edgar had a sinking feeling that someone might be missing this little hamster. Someone might be about to call. While the Hanukkah candles burned down, Edgar told Chickpea about Tel Aviv, about the outdoor cafes and the palm trees and the warm breezes. Tel Aviv is a city in Israel. That's where Edgar's family lives. He petted him on his on his black stripe, and the hamster fell asleep. And this is a picture of what Tel Aviv looks like. Kind of reminds me of Florida, kind of a warm and balmy weather. Not like our cold winter in December, is it? The next morning, Edgar drove a customer to the outskirts of town. When he stopped the cab, the houses looked very familiar. And so did a woman that was standing in front of one of them, with a little boy. She was a woman that he had driven a few days ago, and that must be her little son. Edgar felt a funny feeling in his heart. I wonder what he's feeling in his heart. He said that the woman and the boy looked very familiar. Do you think maybe they are the owners of the hamster? Let's find out. He made himself wave and roll down the window. Little boy, he called, did you lose your hamster? The hamster, the boy cried. Oh, I bought him for my classroom, the woman said. He disappeared the same day. She looked closely at Edgar, but I didn't think he escaped during the cab ride. We thought he was hiding in the bedding, the boy said. Then we saw that the cage door was loose. So it was their hamster, wasn't it? Yeah, they lost him during the cab drive. Edgar showed them pictures on his phone. I've been calling him Chickpea. Here he is eating some salad, his favorite. And here he is going down the little slide that I made for him. Look at his black stripe. He just loves it. Look at him there. And these are the pictures that he showed the woman and the little boy. And they could tell that Edgar really loved this hamster. Did you notice? He's done such kind things for the hamster. Gave him a nice name, made him a nice slide, fed him. The woman squinted down at one of the photos and said, "Do I see a menorah in that picture?" "Yes," said Edgar. "Me and the hamster, we've been celebrating Hanukkah together." "You and the hamster," the woman said. "Don't you have any family here?" "No, they're all back in Israel." "So you mean you live all by yourself?" Edgar nodded. What do you think the woman's going to do next? Can you guess? "Oh, it was very kind of you to take care of the hamster and to let us know." "No trouble at all," Edgar said. "You picked out a good one." He took a deep breath. "So I have to return him to you tomorrow. Before I go to work, I can." The boy touched his mother's arm, and the two of them exchanged glances. That means they looked at each other. "I think this hamster belongs with you," the woman said to Edgar. "He looks right at home in those pictures." She reached out to shake his hand, and she wished him a wonderful holiday. Wow, wasn't that kind of her? She let Edgar keep the hamster. She could see that they were good friends, Edgar and that hamster, huh? That evening, while the stars shone above the kitchen window, Edgar said the blessings and lit all the candles on the menorah. He set out a donut for himself and a new little wheel for his friend to spin on. "Happy Hanukkah, Chickpea," he said. Hamsters like to spin around on a little wheel. Yeah, did you know that? They're kind of fun to watch. Well, that was a nice story to read. The Hanukkah Hamster. Yeah. Well, the last time I read you a holiday story, there was a surprise inside our holiday house. I don't hear anybody knocking, but should we take a peek inside anyway? See if there's any kind of Hanukkah surprises in there, since today is the last day to celebrate Hanukkah. Let's see. Oh, let me see something in here. What? Oh, I think I know what this is. Yeah, this is something that little children like to play with when they're celebrating Hanukkah. It's called a dreidel. And it's something that, like a top, and you spin it. Whoa, I don't know if it's going to spin too good for me. But it's something that you spin on a tabletop. Have you ever played with a top before that spins and spins? Yeah, it's called a dreidel. So we learned two new words today, a menorah and a dreidel. And they both go with the celebration of Hanukkah. Okay? You know what? I have a Hanukkah song for you. Want to hear it? Ready? Light the candles, light the candles, light the candles, Hanukkah is here. Hey! Spin the dreidel, spin the dreidel, spin the dreidel, Hanukkah is here. Hey! Dance the hora, dance the hora, dance the hora, Hanukkah is here. Hey! Well, if you celebrated Hanukkah, I want to say Happy Hanukkah to you on the last day of Hanukkah. And remember, we have other Christmas holidays, other winter holidays that we're going to celebrate, like Christmas and Kwanzaa. That'll be coming up next, right? So we have a lot of winter holidays to celebrate. So I hope you're celebrating some kind of holiday at your house and seeing all the holiday decorations. And I'm going to sing you a happy holiday song again, okay? So happy holidays, while the merry bells are ringing. May your every wish come true. Happy holidays, with the happy songs we're singing. Happy holidays to you and to your families too, okay? See you next time.